Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Iron Panther Presents. Today, Chris, Stacy, and I shall continue our review of Fargo, Season 4, Episode 10. A lot of things happened. We got back to the true story of this season, and we'll kind of figure that out. What is the purpose of the season? Like, what's the main story? Before we get started, though, I want to say thank to everyone who watched, commented, liked, disliked our last review. A lot of passionate views on both sides, and we appreciate it. It's all interaction. Some of my favorite comments was
there were
shut
some
the hell
very
up and let the
fine
woman
people
talk.
on both sides.
What's up?
Very fine people on both sides.
Something like that, Chris. But I was like, I like that. Let the lady talk. We're gonna get to that one. Go back and watch season 2. It's all about season 2, right? This is all some kind of big prequel to season 2. That's what we believe this thing's going to end up. We'll see how that happens at the end of the series. But Stacey, what are your thoughts on the episode?
When I saw Mayflower just kind of hanging around, I was like, I thought she ran off. And so my first thought is, why isn't she either on the run or in jail? And obviously she wanted to get revenge against Ethelrida, but at the expense of going to jail. So I was glad to see the cops actually show up, like, because I'm like, at some point they gotta know she was the one that did it. So why aren't the cops at least investigating her? But they were, so I was kind of happy to see that.
Like every heist, it's always that last one. It's that
Not
last
the last job.
And then it all goes bad. What do you think about how she was saved by the ghost of slave ship past?
Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Well, he wasn't very friendly. Alive or dead, apparently.
I knew that ghost had something to do with that family, like some type of connection. So I mean, it's good for Ethelrida that he kind of showed up for her, I guess.
Chris, what are your thoughts on the slave ship captain coming to save the generation of slaves that he brought to America?
I thought the Tennessee Titans played well. Struggled at first, but then at the end we came down with the W. Sorry, Baltimore. You talking about the show? Sorry, I had to do a shameless plug. My bad.
Thank you.
No, but the ghost. No, I like that explanation. I don't know. Maybe I was expecting like a little bit of a little like a story, like a little actual flashback type deal. Or something.
Okay, yeah,
but not that I needed it necessarily, but I did like that, and then it made more sense in the sense I was like, oh, okay, so it wasn't that he was necessarily like showing up necessarily when people were dying or in a sense almost dying. He just enjoyed when people suffered. Just like that's why that story about on the ship and saying like,
okay,
he was struggling like, and he smiled and laughed, and that is why almost every single time when someone's not having a good time or whatnot, he shows up and he has a smirk on his face. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, okay, because So no, I was straight with that. I mean, hell, like. I think I was saying before, like season 2, they had UFO,
yeah,
or something like that. I don't know. It's been a minute since I saw it, but so I thought that was all right. You mean now you're talking about like the rest of the episode? Or?
No, well, so let's wrap up this part of it. So like when I heard the story on the porch, right? So Ethelrida's mom is telling her the story, and Ethel starts off with, "Are we cursed?" And immediately her mom goes into the story of the slave ship captain, and I'm like, if you know that your family, your women in your family have been haunted since the great grandmother, shouldn't you have mentioned this at some point? Like, are you just waiting for your daughter to be like, let's see if she gets haunted yet? Like it's a rite of passage or some shit. Like, shouldn't you tell her that you may be seeing some shit? Like, I'm smelling it on a regular basis, and she says nothing to her kid.
I think maybe she was hoping that it didn't pass on to her, because even when Ethel, when she said, talk about the smell, and then Ethel said, "Oh, does it smell like the waves and whatnot?" You saw that turn. Her mother turned at her like, "Oh shit!" Like her worst fear was realized. So I think maybe if anything, she was hopefully willingly trying to be in denial that her own child wouldn't have to deal with that. You know what I mean? You know, so.
But then she understood the ghost's tastes. Like I was like, what? Like your aunt tried to take him, but he likes the sunny ones. I was like, what does that even mean? Like, are we gonna get into this? Like, this is a story. Like, did he skip your mom and come to me because you're not sunny enough? Like, what does that mean?
Well, no. It just means like her the aunt is dark in nature. She's not the best person in the world. And clearly, when it came to those slaves on that ship, they hear these little happy old slaves dealing with so much pain and whatnot. That when the aunt, who already lives in the shit or whatever, that's not appetizing to him. He wants, you know what I mean? Like, that's not. He doesn't feed off it. You know, that's how I took it. I took it as that. Like it's too. There's no meat with the aunt. It's just like she puts herself. You know, like she could see a bunch of people get mowed down and she can laugh at that. You know what I mean? Like, no, he goes towards the innocence. You know, that's how I look at that. The whole sunshine being innocence.
Then I got questions. Like, was the ghost there when she was getting her ass whooped at school every day? Because like that was pretty brutal. Like when did he pop up? Like, was he just following her, like seeing her misfortunes this whole time? And then again, you are a racist, evil ghost that saved this woman when the nurse comes in like a specter and just breaks into this woman's house and no one detects anything. Then she runs upstairs so fast nobody hears her. She's a fucking ninja. And then she knows exactly where Ethel's room is at. And she's standing in front of her like she's a ghost. I'm like, when did she learn these skills?
I did like that because for a moment I thought that was the ghost that was sneaking in. Because I know part of me was like, okay, that could be the nurse. But then the way that it kind of just went up the steps towards the sleeping son of Lloyd, I was under the impression like, okay, maybe it is the ghost. You know what I mean? And then here she is looking like freaking Scream, like one of the like serial killer from the movie Scream or whatnot.
Oh yeah,
over her bed, or like Kathy Bates in Misery.
Yeah,
like that. I was like, oh okay. I was like, damn, you know. But I did like that extra touch, like with the whole idea of him like coming into frame. And no, he didn't purpose. No, his intent was not to save her. His intent was like, oh shit, this is the type, the torture that you're about to instill on her. I like seeing that, you know. But clearly she got freaked out and stopped. So he probably was kind of, you know. So yeah. So no, his intent wasn't to save her, because if his intent was to save her, he would at least attack her.
I believe he did, though, sir.
Intent. That was
like, that's why she started screaming. No, he did. No. Like he touched. He scared the shit like on purpose. Like she came up and like it looked to me, it looked like he touched her from the back. He did that to her on purpose. Like that wasn't like he wasn't like, oh my God, what are you doing here? And she was like, oh shit, what are you doing here?
I don't think it was to scare her. I think he enjoyed this moment. What? He enjoyed that moment.
All right. What do you think, Stacey? I see your face.
I thought he was there to scare her. But I thought the mom was gonna come in, because remember when the Cannon son was out front and she was like, oh, I'm a really light sleeper, and I sleep with a shotgun or whatever. So I thought maybe the mom would hear and then come in with her shotgun. But no.
Yeah, I was a little surprised with that. I was surprised because I was like, damn, that's a lot of screaming, you know. But that would explain why they were all outside, all four of them outside, because they were probably like, God damn, who woke me up 2 o'clock in the morning or whatnot, you know what I mean? So,
it's almost like they called the cops because they were just sitting there just waiting for her to get arrested.
Well, no.
Like, I was like, what? I was like, shouldn't y'all be like trying to investigate what the hell she just broke into your damn house? Like, shouldn't you be going over there? And then the cop, like they run into the cops carrying her out. Like that makes more sense. But they're sitting on the porch like, yep, we knew the cops will come eventually. No, you didn't, because they were investigating her for killing the guy in the hospital. Like, no, you didn't. It just,
I was really shocked. The one thing I was shocked is that the one that was supposed to be looking at over the house is the son of Lloyd, the one who's been almost killed twice.
Yes.
And now they're actually in the war now. And like there was bloodshed with mother dying, everybody dying, people, relatives dying. I would have imagined that he would have been like, okay, we're going to really make sure this kid is dead for real this time. Like, yes, Satchel is dead. Satchel, like, as they think is dead. Let's get the other kid. It would not. Oh, wait, he's supposed to be the bodyguard. The musician? The guy who plays the horn? You know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah, man, we can murk this fool. He's over that mortuary. It'll be even easier with him. We murk the dude, just throw him in one of those little cemetery things, man. He, bam. I was a little shocked by that myself, So, but like Stacey,
once again, Lloyd has no security whatsoever, whether it be his kids or his people. Like his crew just ain't ready for this gang life.
He wasn't in a secure hotel this time. He was at a hotel with his.
It looked pretty secure, but he never had any threats though. Like I'm not impressed. Like those guys with guns, because I'm sure those ladies could have took him out. If old girl was still alive, they could have took those guys out and got in there and killed him. I bet you, it's the auntie that kills him. Like Zamar is coming back.
Don't be trying to steal my thing. I said that first. All right.
We both said that. Anyway, Stacey. All right, go. We both agree. For once, we agree on something. Stacey, where else would you like to go? What else? What do you think about this episode?
The fact that Gaetano trips.
I love that.
And falls on his gun and blows his own brains out.
Yes. You didn't like that? That is so Fargo.
That's so Fargo. That's the only Fargo thing that's happened this entire season to me.
That's not true.
That's the only Fargo thing that I will accept. I'm like, that is real Fargo.
No, I mean, because
kills Odis and then accidentally kills himself. That shit was hilarious.
Back two things. Like, remember, like episode 4 or 5 when he trips the first time, and the kid, you know what I mean? And then you saw Odis when he was going to his car. He trips on that same thing that Gaetano tripped again. You know what I mean? So I was like, I thought when Odis tripped, I thought that the actor himself tripped and whatnot, and I was like, damn, like because it looked so authentic that I was like, did he mess up? Because they had nothing. Like at that moment when he went in the car, I was like, okay, that didn't do anything. Maybe they just kind of did that as a whimsical thing until homeboy walking away from his car after shooting, blasting him, and then he trips at the same spot that Odis tripped at. I was like, okay. I clap. I know you probably didn't like it, Stacey. I loved that moment. I loved it. It was so ironic, and that's the only way he could really go out. Like the dude was like freaking Terminator.
He was.
The dude was like this dude. He had Fargo people shooting at him. He's coming out like boom, boom. That's the only way he can. It's like Omar. Well, if you haven't seen The Wire, hit pause or hit mute right now. But just like Omar in The Wire, there's no way that Marlo, Barksdale, all of them could take Omar out. But then all of a sudden, this little neighborhood kid, just like, hey, in the liquor store, like, hey, bop, and then knocks him out. So unexpected. I liked it. I liked it. I don't know.
So how would you have wanted him to go out, Stacey? What would have been a fitting
death? At least, because when it first happened, I don't know if I just looked away or whatever. And then I looked back and I was like,
he did.
So I thought Odis, because he kept smiling when he was like dying, I guess.
Yeah, he looked like Joker.
Had mustered up enough strength to get one shot off.
Yeah.
So I rewound it. I was like, wait, he shot himself? Really?
Stacey's right. After all that bullshit, it would have been good. It would have been good if it's that classic movie thing where the wounded gets that one last shot and they ultimately kill each other. That would have been a better way to go. Because Gaetano was walking up to Odis like, you were fucked. And he was. I mean, he was like, I got
my so much time to move or do something. Yes. And he just kept sitting. I'm like, dude, get up, run, at least attempt to run or something. But he was just like, okay,
I think he realized it was no escape. He saw someone was in his house and him was thinking he was smart enough to go the back way. Realized, oh nope, someone's waiting for you there. That he's like, you know what? I can't outrun these guys. I thought I was good as far as having the security detail to take me away, but I can't escape this shit. And then they took my one prize thing. They took my wife's old the one thing that I prize more than anything. You know what I mean? I think he just kind of said, you know what? Fuck, I'm good. I think he was just at peace at that point. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
He was at oh, because then especially in the sense of I know how you want to feel about this, right? Because all the dirt that he did, right, from even killing Deafy and all that, that towards the end he felt, not saying he redeemed himself, he felt that he did redeem himself by actually trying to by becoming the cop that he thought he could be, in the sense of him actually taking down these guys. You know what I mean? That he thought that he was finally becoming an actual cop for once and not having people pull the strings. That's why they kept replaying like the stuff that Lloyd was saying, Gusto, all of them was saying, and he said, boom, he just blanked it out. He's like, screw this, I'm controlling my life now. And then at the very end, he said, I'm at peace. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm okay to die by this.
He could have gave a peaceful shot. You'd be like, I'm in peace, but like, pop. Like, I mean, he know he gonna get it.
Maybe he was trying to. The problem is, like, he probably had to hit the gun a few times. Like,
yeah, that was his problem.
By the time he hit the third one, like, he bled out, and he was like,
that was his problem. He was like, I still gotta go through my ticks. I still gotta go through my ticks, and he's like, I can't get the gun.
He died.
He couldn't even get out the door because he was doing the same. He couldn't get out the car because he was doing the same thing. He was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm like, you're dead as fuck, dude. You are dead as fuck at this point. Like, dude,
I did the same thing. I was like, just like fuck the door.
Like, fuck the door. Just go, man. Just go.
Like, yes, you'll go crazy for a day or two for not messing with the door. Okay, but you will be alive.
But you will live. Like, oh fuck, man.
Oh, but speaking of which, I didn't like. I mean, why didn't they talk about the subway incident?
Exactly.
The train. What happened?
Don't. All right, Chris. Let's wait till the end of the video.
Talked about how in previous episodes big things have happened and nothing has been mentioned about it.
Exactly.
The mothers were dead, the mother and the daughter.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't bring up the mother in this one.
We didn't see a funeral. We didn't see, oh, we got to get revenge for our mother. Nothing.
Instead,
they talking about falling in love at 11 and my first love and all this stuff. Yeah. Like, talk about your dead mama.
How long ago was the incident that we saw at the train station and the whole thing at the house, at the Italian's house? How much later was this? Because clearly there's a war happened and whatnot. So, and the stuff was in the papers and whatnot. So I was under the impression that maybe it was like 2 months, maybe at least maybe.
I think it was like a year. I think it was like a year because this show started off in 1950 and it said 1951 at this point. So months have passed. I'm maybe not a year, but months have passed. Let's say that. Okay.
All right. So I guess it makes so I get a month after that because now Odis is seen as respectable now as a cop. You know what I mean? Like, I guess it makes more sense now.
But no, I mean, both of you are right. Like, there's several things that should have been addressed in the previous episode. All right, like last week's episode should have covered, as Stacey pointed out, them burying their mother. Okay, which likely was the catalyst of them being like, we got to kill all the Cannon's crew. You know, and again, we assume it was the sister that got killed. We assume that, you know what I'm saying? But we really don't know who she is. That never got addressed. Like, again, Deafy being killed, that didn't get addressed. You know what I'm saying? They shrunk an entire war.
I will say this about Deafy. Deafy wasn't even from there.
Huh?
I mean, Deafy wasn't one of them. Like, Deafy was always, remember, even the cop that signed Deafy to him, he was trying to get rid of Deafy. He was like, you know what? Nah, you're partnering him with Odis.
The marshals would have came to.
Maybe they shouldn't have even brought it up because I think you're absolutely right. They should at least brought it up. But I'm just saying to that precinct, they could give a damn about Deafy. Is my opinion. You see what I'm saying?
All right.
But you're right. I would at least to what you typically say. I would at least like some sort of mention. But I guess their mentioning was what Odis doing that, having that flashback, that flashback, I guess.
His guilt is not mentioned. Like, how did he get away with it? He killed the guy with a service weapon, and somehow, like, he still gets away with it. The other marshals,
they didn't have no ballistics. Then he gonna just be like, "Oh, the girls did it."
And where is she at?
Huh?
And where is she at? Right now,
you really think they're not going to have her in this last episode?
I'm not talking about the last episode. I'm talking about the previous episode where you should figure out what the hell she's at. And be like, what's her?
That's right. You didn't want the last episode.
And I was saying, or her plan, how she's going to kill Lloyd, because obviously she realized Lloyd is the reason why the love of her life is dead and why she almost got killed.
You're going to get this, man. calm down. You got your ghost. You got your answer. You got your answer. Like what happened with Satchel and Rabbi. You got that. You gonna get it.
Okay. So let's talk about Satchel and Rabbi. All right. So I'll say it before and I'll say it again. Last week's episode was a great standalone episode that should have been its own movie by itself outside of this series. Okay. It did nothing for this story. All we know is that Satchel is walking the streets with a dog like he's Will Smith and I Am Legend. He got a gun, he got a dog, and he's walking the street with no care in the world. This makes no damn sense. It is 1950. It is segregated America. Like, he should realize, like, his situation. Like, he has no fear. This is not realistic in any way, shape, or fucking form. Two white people walk up and drive up in a pickup truck, and they're scared of him. And they just drive away.
He had a gun. Who didn't?
So you mean to tell me that if this is Lovecraft country, they wouldn't have came back and got him? They're just gonna let that shit go?
Well, for one, I mean, Lovecraft country, there were cops for one, so of course they had weapons. But
random ass people were chasing down, ticking them.
But these rednecks here, no, because HBO is all about revenge anyway. So of course they would come back because that's just what HBO does. But no, I thought it was. I mean, because it's clear that in the next episode. Satchel's gonna probably catch a body. Satchel's gonna be catching a body. My prediction is he's gonna catch a body in this finale. You know,
that has nothing to do with the fact that as much as they try to put race into this, like the first episode they were dealing with Ethelrida and her shit that she's going through to be like segregation is a real thing, like racism is a real thing. Like for this kid to be just walking around, he almost got picked up or shot by the cop last episode. Yeah. So he should have some general clue that you don't just walk down the street with no protection whatsoever and just be like, I'm just, and he's just stealing milk. Like nothing's gonna protect.
I don't understand the consequences. He's seen so much. He got taken away from his family. He has nothing to lose at this point. That even he knows where he's at, but I don't think he gives a fuck. Is my point. He's seen so much. He had his own father sell him, so to speak. He had this adoptive family basically treat him like shit. The one guy who he kind of cared about, is seemingly killed, he thinks, whatnot. He thinks his family's gone. Because matter of fact, because Rabbi kind of put in his head, kind of saying like, your family's, there's a war going on, and most likely your family's probably going to be dead. He's now in this world thinking there's nothing left with literally this dog. I literally have nothing to lose. Fuck it, whatever. Like I'm taking what's mine. You know what I mean? If I die from it, so be it. I think that's where he's at. He's seen too much of this. He's seen too much. I don't think he's heard. I mean, because to your point, that is like saying no black person in the 1950s. There was no rebels back then. There was no black person who didn't see horrible shit back in the 1950s. That said, fuck you and literally try to face death. That's exactly what happened.
He hasn't seen shit. He hasn't seen his parents get killed because they're not killed.
No.
He didn't see Rabbi get killed because he's not killed. He hasn't seen shit.
His family is gone. He literally thinks he's the only person there. And
he hasn't seen shit. He's heard some stories, but he hasn't seen shit.
Who cares about not seeing anything? My point is, he thinks he doesn't have anything left. You think you have nothing left. You're not going to give a damn. You just not.
He's a 10-year-old, bro. Don't try to put him
whether you see it or not.
He's a rebel at this point. Okay.
He doesn't see. He sees that there's nothing else in his life. F it.
All right.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, I disagree, but it's fine. He'll be fine. He'll be in next week's episode. We'll see if he turns into the Mike Milligan that we all think he's going to. Yeah. I don't.
Even if he doesn't, I mean, he thinks he lost it all. So even if he's not Mike,
makes no effort to check. Also, speaking of things that don't get brought up, the tornado don't get brought up at all. Nowhere. No sense of like, hey, new like radio news, like those tornado destroyed something. None of that.
What the hell? Like
it killed. It killed 5 people. Like it's just amazing how things happen and they just don't give a fuck. Like they just keep on. They just happen a lot,
dude. That's like bringing up. That is like having a hurricane in Florida and getting upset today and bring up there was a hurricane in Florida. They're used to that shit. Kansas is
all over the news. What the fuck are you talking about, Chris? Do you know how often they report on this stuff? What are you really talking about? Like as often as hurricanes happen, that's a thing, Chris.
2020 or 1950s.
Oh my god. All right, Chris. All right.
Stacey, please jump in.
You just don't make no damn sense.
Please
So,
say. I'm making a lot
what are your
of
thoughts?
sense.
I just wonder why Satchel just doesn't attempt to call or go home or reach somebody.
Just something.
Attempt.
Just attempt. Just attempt.
I mean,
And find out.
by yourself, your mentor / guardian is dead or in jail, according to him. That who else? What else are you gonna do? Are you gonna go out and get a job? Like, attempt to contact your family and say, "Hey, I'm somewhere. Help me."
Just something, man. Just a reasonable person would make some type of effort. You know what I'm saying? And like, and the fact that he's not makes no damn sense. It just doesn't. It doesn't make any
Even not
sense.
his mom and dad. I'm sure he has somebody, like an aunt, a cousin, or something. I don't know. Somebody,
Let's hope we, for one,
a
remember
school teacher or somebody.
a school teacher. Yeah.
Just something. I don't know, man. But anyway, the women really stepped up in this episode. So you got Lloyd, like, again, his back is against the wall. Like, he feels like the Italians are beating him. They are. We don't know what the hell happened to the Fargo backup. They just gone. No explanation on that.
Probably.
Huh?
Probably all dead.
But again, we get no resolution on that. The show's damn called Fargo, and we get no resolution on the Fargo guys. Like what happened to them? Maybe that'll be in next week's episode too. But right now, Lloyd feels like it's just him and the two guards he got. So then he calls in Leon's cousin Happy, who reminded me of Arsenio Hall from Harlem Nights. Like, just as like his mannerisms, he just reminded me of that dude so much. I have no idea why.
Oh, well, no, he wasn't crying though. He was like, "I was getting your motherfucker. Quit shooting that little shit."
Well, before he started crying, before he started crying, but just this is man. I mean, his boy was back there holding the pictures of the ancestors. I'm like, this shit is hilarious.
For some reason, I thought like maybe one of the ancestors was like maybe Lloyd's ancestor. And it was like I was like, what's going on? I was like, oh, it's both his ancestors. Okay, all right, cool.
But as we talked about, like, things have consequences, right? So with Dr. Cinder being killed, Lloyd like losing his shit, you know what I'm saying? Like he takes his frustrations out on Leon. His boy told him, like, that's not a good idea. We're gonna need Happy at some point, and now we need Happy. So now he's sitting up there like, hey, you got the people, can you help me out? And he's losing this argument. But then his wife steps up and she's like, we're family. We got to stick together. Like, black is black. They don't care either way. Like, we're in this together. And it looked like she was winning the conversation. It looked like she won him over. And I thought that was awesome. And then you get the Ethelrida at the end of the episode. She's the one that's coming to save her family because she's a detective all of a sudden. And after finding the ring, I'm trying to understand this. So this is what she said. This is what she said. She said the nurse took the trophies, rings, and all that, and kept a copy of the obituary next to it. That's what she said. But then she changes the story to, I found the ring, and then I went. That's what she said. And so then anyway, then she says, I found the ring, and then I went to the library and started looking up obituaries, and then I found this random ass obituary where he just happened to be wearing the ring, and I put 2 to 2 together, and here you go. And this is gonna save the day. And I'm like, what? I was like,
yeah, I don't get how that's gonna win a war.
Or even how she made those connections. But
I can see her making the connection. Just a little bit.
All right.
But as far as him having the ring to do what?
Maybe leverage or something. I don't know. We'll find out.
Because
it ended that. Which means I'm clearly going to address it. They obviously will address this.
They will address it. It's probably not gonna make a lot of damn sense though, because Josto knows that the nurse killed his dad. Like he fully knows that. I mean, they were doing the cocaine, and she said, "Hey, I'm the one who killed your daddy. Remember me? I did it for you." And he said, "Yeah." And then they kept on having sex and doing cocaine. So I'm not sure what this is supposed to be a big reveal that he's gonna tell New York that Josto has his dad killed. That's the only thing.
That's what I was gonna say. That's why I predict. I predict
Okay.
That's what it is, because remember, like, they even kind of made it seem like they put in this episode, say, hey, look, you're making too much noise going on. You know what I mean? Like, that. I feel like, really, to be honest, the only way Gusto could really die is from the New Yorkers, because he thinks he's hot shot, just to have his own people turn against him. You know what I mean? So, and
also doesn't
well, one,
seem
Abel's already pissed off at him. Abel's already pissed. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying, Stacey?
I don't know. Josto doesn't seem very like aggressive, I guess. Like I haven't seen him kill anybody. When he saw Gaetano blown up or whatever, he got sick. I don't know if that was just a sight of the blood or the
That was
brain,
brain.
the
That was,
brains, or
and
just
it was his
because
brother.
in the mob, you would see stuff like that quite a bit. But he was maybe because it was his brother. But then again, he like 2 weeks ago, he wanted his brother dead anyway. So it's kind of like now y'all close because y'all shared a few childhood stories. I don't know.
He's not about that street life. Like he does a lot of talk. He's not the street life dude. So I think we saw the act, like you said, like your point. Once he saw the brains, the blood, he was like, "Bleh," like that's not what I'm into, and he left. Like he leaves that to other people. But to see it like that, like he ain't the muscle, and both of them think they're losing. Like Josto and Loya, like we're both losing this. Like neither one of them think they're on top right now. Is that Loy really knows he's not on top? You know, but so they're and so I don't know what he's gonna do now without his brother, who really was the muscle. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how he's gonna keep control of his people.
Especially now. I mean, I really do predict that Chris Rock's going to use that ring to make a few phone calls. To like, hey, let me tell you how I got the ring. You know what I mean? It just kind of starts stirring the pot that way.
And I'm hard pressed to believe that these Italians are gonna believe him over their own people just because we got a ring and an obituary.
Nah, I would say it wouldn't be that far fetched. They already threw some Easter eggs. They already implanted some small stuff like Abel seeing horrible stuff that Josto's doing, and literally saying to him, "You can't kill him. You can't get him killed. These are made men. Like New York is not gonna like that." And he said that repeatedly to him. That when I saw that with the ring, I was like, it's gonna be Abel. It's gonna be able to be like, he did it. Like I can see.
Okay.
It. Yeah. Like
All
he's going to be the one to be like, yeah, like I warned you. Like he's gonna be like, I warned you about this.
All right. So he talks to Abel. Abel talks to New York. Yeah. That makes more sense. He convinced Abel. Abel carries the message to New York.
Yeah. Whoever's the messenger or whatnot. No, the point is, it's going to get to New York. Of the concoct is going to be like a concocted plan as far as like basically that kind of still in their heads that the son wanted more power than he should have or whatever, or he was upset that he was sold many years ago. You know what I mean? And he saw an opening and he took it.
Sold to a man that molested him. I mean, so which would never really come back to be anything. What's up?
I forget about that. Like, what was the point of bringing that up if it doesn't come back some type of way?
And then, like, what's the point? Like, even his relationship with the nurse. Like, I thought, like, the fact that he was sleeping with a woman who lives next door, to the mortuary where, like, where Lloyd had his people at, that they're like the big fight was gonna be there. And then that kind of goes to the story of like Ethelrida, like her role in this whole thing. Like I went back to the first episode to be like, how did this thing start? Like it started with her. Like it started with her narrating this entire story. Like she was telling the history of the gangs in Kansas City, Missouri. So I'm like, how are we going to get back to that? Like, is she going to be like like write down all the stuff that's happening through this thing? And then like in the end, she's going to tell the big story when it's all said and done.
Yeah, she'll be like a grown woman or something like that.
Yeah, like is it who's the true like the focus of this story? And I think it's gonna be her. They just got away from her, and then eventually it's gonna come back to her and what she knows, and maybe that's gonna be it. Like she'll be the last one standing.
I mean, I would say that was. I mean, I guess my critique for overall was that I always felt that it was supposed to be her to begin with, but they focus on some all these other characters and whatnot, from the Deafies to the Odises and the sisters and the sister, the auntie with her girlfriend and whatnot, that she kind of just became like a blimp, character in the essence. But yeah, no, I mean, from the first episode, you're like, oh, it is her story. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that they're finally getting back to that, so, but yeah, so, I mean, So I mean, I guess with this last episode, I guess maybe we'll see a little bit more of that between that and then what happens with Satchel, perhaps. But yeah.
You think he ever makes it back home to realize his family's not dead?
Unless he gets there and then maybe his family really is dead.
Nah, I can't. I mean, I don't think so. Huh?
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be all right. What's up?
Whatever happened with Zero? Is he still just living it up in the Cannon's house?
Oh. Yeah. He trying to get with old girl. He trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like.
No, you talking about the Italian kid? You talking about the Italians? Oh, yeah. Where the fuck is he at?
Oh yeah. True.
That's how. Oh man, these writers, like
episode.
The fact that he thinks his son is dead, like, no, that's not a small. Like the fact he thought he was almost gonna kill that kid. We knew he almost did,
and he stopped. Luckily, he differentiated.
But where is that kid? Like I mean that's
with his other kids. He's with his other kids.
And where are they? Like
the girls? Yeah.
Where are they? Like, where is this family? Who's protect? So let's get down to the numbers. All right. I was when Ethelrida was like, you lost 27 men. If Lloyd lost, he never had 27 men. Like the picture behind me don't have 27 men in that room. Okay. There's no way his crew was so big. He had 27 men and extra that he's still around. Who's protecting his family? You know what I'm saying? Like his wife, his kids,
grandmother and
the grandma. Like who's protecting them? Where's the Italian kid? How is it the Italians aren't like, we need to get our relative back? Like right? I mean, how is that not a conversation?
I don't think they care about the kid though.
They
like,
care about him.
Yeah, Josto definitely doesn't care about his kid, brother. He's like, oh, that's because at one point they brought his kid up, his little brother up, and he's like, oh yeah, I know, yeah, that would suck. And then he quickly moved on. And then there was a look on was it Abel's face, like, damn, you just don't give, like he didn't care. He was like, oh yeah, if something happens to him, sure, yeah, that was my father's bastard kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like he just did not care about his half brother or whatever. You know what I mean?
I get you.
You know.
What do you think?
I don't know. Like, is he gonna be something in the future? Is it gonna be Mike Milligan versus Zero Cannon? Like, what are we doing?
Maybe they're the if this somehow connects to season 2, which I truly do doubt. But if this does, maybe it is them two. Maybe because remember Lloyd looked him in the eye and said, if a man looks you in the eye, he respects you, right? He was trying to say we're here together, right? Maybe it does come back to that. Maybe he's how Lloyd like lives in this throughout this whole thing. Like he uses him to talk to Abel. He's like, look, I'm not that dude. Like, even though you guys killed my son, which is also not true, and they never proved it. But like, here's the Italian kid, all safe. You know what I'm saying? In fact, here's the ring, and maybe that's how this whole thing gets turned around. Like you said, they all turn on Josto after when it's all said and done. Because in the end, he's the one been pulling the strings trying to make this shit go down. I'm really surprised that Gaetano and Josto really worked it out. Like I thought Gaetano was all setting this whole thing up. He really was like, "You my brother. I'm so impressed that you tried to kill me, and I'm committed to you." Like he really meant that. I was like, "What?" I was like, okay.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I was a little shocked with the 180, but I forgot what show / movie I was dealing with here, and I was like, okay, yeah, Fargo. Nah, because this is, I guess it was so charming about just Fargo as far as the whole cinematic like saga of Fargo is it can be whimsical at times, and sometimes things just don't make sense, and then you have your random moments like I think it was at season 1 where like homegirl like was in the basement, she tripped or whatever, and then a wrench came down and just killed her, which is like what happened with old boy or whatever. He's like, oh, I killed him. And then which I found interesting, which I forgot to bring up, when Odis, he seemed to be like kind of introspective when he saw Odis smiling when he died. Like he saw him pause and he was like, hey, his brother was like, hey, can you hurry it up? And he paused like he was thinking like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like he actually thought about what I don't know if maybe he regretted it, maybe perhaps.
No,
you know what I mean, or some, or maybe not. But it clearly affected him. You know what I mean? Because he stopped. He just paused. He just looked at him like puzzled. Like why is he? why was he smiling?
I also asked him the question.
You know,
because he's still dead. He's like, I went back to 1989's Batman. Like I was like, is he infected with the Batman juice? Because at one point, Gaetano was acting like Batman himself.
No,
like
he was at peace.
Like Joker.
Nah, he was just at peace. That's what that was.
He was like,
what's
wrong with this dude?
Yeah. Huh?
I just saw his face. I was like, what the fuck wrong with this dude? Like, did he go to the happy place like before he died? He's like, I'm with my wife.
Flashback with him being on his wife's
it was
lap and whatnot. He was cool. He was content. He was just like he was cool.
He didn't get that to Deffy. Deffy was like, "Excuse me, officer." Poof.
No, of course not. No.
He didn't get no happy moment.
No, but I think finally he felt that he was able to take control of the life and be able to do certain things the way he wanted to do. You know what I mean? Man. The way he wanted to. You know, so it ended to his downfall, but I think at that point he was like, okay, fine, but I came up, I'm about to go out on top in the sense of me living my life the way I wanted to. Yeah. And I think it affected him when he shot him. He was like, damn. He's like, all right, I'm coming, bro. That was awesome. Stacey, how you not like that moment? That was so awesome. I love that. I love that. That's so random and awesome at the same time.
It was so random, it was unnecessary. But it was like, because who would do that dumb shit? Like only Fargo. Only Fargo would think that bullshit made sense.
You know, sometimes stuff like that happens. Like you heard about the case about the girl playing Pokemon Go, and she was just out on the cliff. She
walked off the cliff,
and then she just fell off.
I'm not saying dumb shit don't happen. I'm like, in a show like this, dumb shit shouldn't happen like that.
No, a show like this called Fargo, it does happen,
man. But a mad killer like that should get a fitting murder. Like it should be fitting.
HBO.
Yeah, it goes back to Power when they used to build these characters up to be so big and bad, and then they die like that. It's like
so. Did you not like the way Omar died then? I mean, because you could say, oh well, Omar died by like.
That's not the same thing, man. That's not the same thing.
How not?
If he would have walked outside and choked on one of the candies he bought, that would be as dumb as this shit. If he would have survived, if he would have killed that kid and stopped that kid from killing him, he pops some annihilator and chokes on it and dies. I'll be like, that's dumb as fuck. And I would be like, who did that? Who thought that was a good idea? They're like, the only one that killed him.
The future creator of this show that's coming to the worst called Power. You know what I mean? That's who did this.
I was like, stop it. No, we're not gonna go down the Power route. We're not gonna do that. So I would just say that so far, and I'm gonna go with Chris on this one. So far, the deaths of 3 characters from last episode meant nothing so far in the season. I'm hoping that this next episode will address some of that. So some of the ramifications of anything that happened last episode would be nice.
Oh, the 3 characters. Maybe. I don't know.
Something like, you know what I'm saying, just to be like, hey, where's so and so? I know I sent him out there. And he didn't come back, and nobody gives a fuck. Like something.
Sometime later, I don't know. I mean,
what?
I wasn't his right hand man, but yeah, I hear you. All right. Like he lost
later, but Satchel is still walking down the street with the dog.
Yeah.
So
but remember, Chris Rock thinks he's dead at this point. So,
but he thought he was dead last week. His mama was having a funeral for nobody. That death was already settled with them. Like they were like, well, we and what happened to the repass? Like what? None of it. Like what? When did that happen? Repass. Like you got a funeral, you gotta have let me talk about good like writing. And I just feel like Black people were involved. After the meeting with Happy, when he was like, tell so and so I like the greens. I was like, that's Black people right there. Like somebody Black wrote that, and I was like, that's hilarious. He was like, "This." I was like, "Where did that come from? Who's talking about greens?" Like nobody was talking about greens. He was like,
I thought you were saying like the payment, what's it going to cost you? It's like your mama's greens.
I was like, that shit was hilarious. No, I swore he said, "I love the greens." He said, "Just tell your mom I love the greens." That's what he said. It had nothing to do with anything. But he was like,
I think essentially what you're saying is like, oh, it'll cost you nothing. Is what you're trying to say. It's like, oh, you can pay me back by making your mom's cooking. I thought it was like that whole typical thing.
Oh,
like,
all right.
Yeah, you can pay me back. Yeah, pay me back with that awesome mac and cheese that your mom would be making.
But that's still good though. That's still. I mean, I was like, if he was at Chitlins, it would have went too far. I'll be like, that's going too far. All right, like greens are okay.
Kansas City, they ain't gonna be eating no damn Chitlins over
there. Hey, it's Black folks, man. And he had the country ones too. Don't act like they need Chitlins. They ate some. Those were Chitlins eating.
I mean, like in the South here, yes, but I'm saying like You
The
talking
country
about,
folks that
Kansas.
Happy ate chitlins.
Are they
Half
from
these
New
people
York?
ate
These
chitlins.
guys are from. Okay. Oh, Happy. Okay. I was
That's
about
what
to.
I'm
I
saying.
thought you like watch people. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
All right. So, and they worked at the slaughterhouse. You know they had chitlins.
Maybe not there. Maybe Chris Rock ain't gonna make no damn chitlins.
Not Chris Rock, man.
They from New York. They New Yorkers. They ain't messing with no damn.
I'm talking about Happy, man. Let's focus on Happy.
Yeah.
All right. So all right then. So people stepped up. We got ghosts for whatever. We got Satchel walking the earth, get into adventures. Huh?
No, I was just saying, man. Just say my homeboy Theodore Roach's name right, man. It's the homie. Racist ass homie, but you know.
Who?
I'm talking about Theodore Roach.
Oh, Theodore Roach, the captain. Captain Theodore Roach.
Sorry,
Excuse me.
Captain. Yeah. You gotta put captain in there, just like
put some respect on his name as he was carrying slaves across the fucking ocean. The fuck?
Yeah. Fuck that. Nah, he probably put my ancestors on that shit, man. He ain't get no fucking captain out of me. I'll choke his ass out too.
What do you think? I'm just saying they should have showed, to your point, they should have showed the flashback. That shit would have been appropriate. If this was HBO, they would have showed it. To your point, if this was Lovecraft Country, they would have made an effort.
No, but even FX typically would do that period too, like what they do for American Horror Story. They do that a lot in American Horror Story. So
they should have went that far. If we're gonna go through the backstory.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they figured because it's like our show, they're putting all this other stuff between the brothers, and the whole thing with Ethel showdown with the nurse. You know,
if I'd rather watch the slave ship than to watch Gaetano talk about how he had to eat shoes again. Like, I'm like, what are we doing right now? One, you about to die in 2 minutes. Like, what's the point of this shit? Like, we understand you brothers.
It's a touch. You ever watch Walking Dead? You watch Walking Dead, right?
Of course, I watched The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I guess my point is, you know, for one, that's usually a sign someone's about to go. When someone opens their heart out like that, like opens their heart and say like, and they're like, oh, I now understand you better. It's to allow them to go out on top for you to be like, damn, like you were evil, but I still understand.
You know, a bit more appropriate. I miss Mom, and I miss our sister because they just got killed, and that's why we're out here killing these people. Like that would have been helpful. But you know, they're like, they gotta keep that shit moving. Let's go back to the shoes. Fuck the fact my mom is dead and my sister's dead. Let me eat these shoes. Like,
I'm surprised. They did. I know maybe this is a few months later, but they're still not out there in the search for Rabbi or whatever. No. They put it. They told Lloyd's people so Lloyd and all of them could go on the hunt for Rabbi.
Yeah. But that still has not been but like, where is he? Like, how long? Why is he still not? Why is he still alive? Is he alive or is he dead? And why have we heard either one? Like Josto should be asking these questions. Like, but he's not. They just don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't matter. Yeah. Anyway, Stacey, what are your thoughts about season finale? What are your thoughts? What do you want to see? How about that?
I think we should wrap up everything. Like, what's going to happen to Josto? What's going to happen with Satchel? Is Lloyd going to survive? Is his family going to survive? Is he going to be the last one standing? That's all I really want to know. Do they get? I'm assuming they get the funeral home back, the Smut Needs or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
And what's going to pan out with the ring? How is the ring going to save the day?
Somehow Lloyd's already figured it out. He was like, yeah. He was like, oh shit. We'll see how you work it out. Chris, what do you thought? What do you want to see?
I wanted to show that like they're on the ropes or whatnot, and it looks like maybe so Satchel comes back home, and maybe Satchel catches a few bodies in the sense of like, hey, that's my family or whatnot. They're about to kill Satchel, and all of a sudden, a random bullet, and all of a sudden you see someone like enter towards like really hurt, like twisted leg, arms, like all bruised up, face all messed up. And it's Rabbi, like limp and flip. Get away from me, son. Get away.
Hey. Get away. The tornado carries him back to city, and he falls from the sky from the tornado.
Mercy, oh my God. Mercy Tall Tales, the Disney film Tall Tales. Yeah. With Patrick Swayze. He played Peckersville and he rode the tornado. He was like, whoa, what's that noise? And all of a sudden, yeah, he's on a tornado. He jumps off the tornado like, ugh, pop, pop. I'm just, for some reason, I'm just picturing Rabbi jumping off the tornado and just like.
But he did when the tornado came. He kind of did lifted his arms up so it can take him. So maybe they said if you relax enough, it'll kind of like just kind of gently lay you in a field somewhere.
And he's very
He's
thin.
thin.
He's skinny, so yeah, he's good. So like when he falls, he like the wrestlers would just fall like this. He'll fall like this.
Yeah. Like a piece of paper.
The gentle soul, and he just falls on the ground. Oh man!
Like if you put him and his hat fall down at the same time, who's going to land first? We'll find out. Let's find out next episode.
We'll find out next episode. And after that, that's why Satchel somehow Cannon changes his whole name to be like, you know what? I want to be like you when I grew up. I'm Mike Milligan now, and then it fades to black. I'm like, that's some bullshit. But that's the only thing I will accept. I'll tell you, I'm sorry, viewers. The only thing I will accept is in that episode, that Satchel says, I'm changing my name, and it's Milligan, Mike Milligan. That's the only thing, nothing less than that. I will be like, anything else than that, y'all pulling, and you're stretching, and you're looking for a connection.
You saying if he does not end?
If he's not changed his name at the end of and the only way that's going to happen is if his entire family's dead and all he has nothing but the memory of Rabbi to live on, which that'd be a bit much. But that's it.
Say, like, even if he's not Mike Milligan or whatnot, I mean, I'll be cool. I think it'll be an awesome like wink to the second season.
It will
if he did, but I wouldn't be mad if he doesn't want to be Woodburn, Book from Woodburn at the end, you know what I mean? So
but these people, they want it. It has to be. I was like, no, man, it doesn't actually.
It's
plenty of black boys running around Kansas City, Missouri. I'm sure one of them could be a Mike Milligan. It don't have to be this one.
Yeah, but it's just. But I can see why. I mean, it as far as the age of the character of Mike Milligan in 1979, I guess 1979, Kansas City. His background, like he did not want to say what happened in his background. People question like, your last name, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, so I can see that. That's not like one of those huge, like far stretch type like things like, ooh, my theory of that. You know what I mean? Like, you always hear theories and you're like,
yeah, I know.
Far fetched. This one isn't that far fetched necessarily.
We'll see. I mean? We'll see, man.
But even if it doesn't come true,
it'll still a good season. It'll still a good season overall. It'll still a good season. I'm still interested in the story. I want to see the gang that if Lois is standing, if the black gang is standing, who's the next? The story is always about a bit some gangs coming off the boat trying to take the power from the people who had it.
Maybe Maybe the horn player.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe his son goes gangster.
Yeah. The suitor. The suitor.
The suitor. I was like, what? Isn't that the same thing? He's like, I'm a suitor.
Stuff you and your boyfriend, don't you know? He's like, that's not my boyfriend. I was like, yeah, I'm more like a suitor.
A suitor. I was like,
I'm gonna win her. No, she will be mine.
Yeah, that's not working out too well. You can't protect her. You falling asleep with a shotgun on your chest.
I know, right?
And some nurse slips in like a ghost and goes past you. It's like, what kind of protection are you? You can't protect me now. How are you gonna protect me later? I was like, these are basic questions a spouse is gonna ask you. Anyway, all right, dude. Stacey, anything else before we go?
Nope.
All right, Chris.
No, man. I mean, looking forward to see how this thing wraps up, and it should, it's been an interesting ride, So I would say overall, I am impressed with the acting in this. Like, I've always been impressed with Chris Rock as far as lately with his acting and whatnot. Not his early stuff necessarily. Well, no, I take it back. New Jack City, all this stuff. So never mind, I'm lying. But like he was great in that stuff. But no, because I'm thinking more like Lethal Weapon 4. That's what every time I think of him acting in the beginning, I'm thinking Lethal Weapon 4. I'm like, no, he played Pookie. Remember, he played a good character like Pookie. That I love. This is so different as far as his role here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I like it. And I know, especially Stacey. Stacey were like, "Yo, you ain't gangster enough." Like. I know he's not that gangster, but I like that he's like doing something outside of his like actual comfort zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is a matter of fact, the way he talks in this is actually how he kind of talk like that's vocally, that's how he really talks in real life. That's not that little comedic crap you see on like when he does stand up. That's not how he really talks when you see him in interviews. You know what I mean? He's not like that. He sounds more like Lloyd, just not more like, that's not how this works. That's not how, you just don't, So I don't know. I'm impressed with Chris. So
I saw this episode when, huh?
No, I said not everybody hates you.
Well, I'm saying I liked him when he was remembering his son, because he thinks his son is dead, and when he was born and that kind of stuff. And he was like, even on my toughest day, I couldn't be as strong as my wife, and that's definitely not now. Like when he sees like it's over, like in his mind it's over, like that. I thought that was a very touching moment. And I know he was trying to give like a dramatic like situation right there. So I was like, this is not Pootie Tang, all right? Like this is not Bad Company. I'm like, this is not CB4. Like, let Chris Rock have this. I'm like, I got it. Like, I'm here for you, Chris. I know you're working at it. You know what I'm saying? But he was trying to bring it.
You jerk. Now I gotta watch Pootie Tang tonight.
It's Pootie Tang, man. No, CB4. You watch CB4. That's much better than Pootie Tang. That wasn't even his movie. He was a side character. He wasn't Pootie Tang. Like, he was Pootie Tang.
No, I loved it though. He's like, man, man, it's hot out here. Man, it's hot out. I just said that. Like,
he's like, Saturday.
He's like, man, I got a new song called.
No, Head of State. That's what we need to watch. Right, we need to review Head of State. This is the time. This is the time to review Head of State.
Dog narrating everything. Yeah.
Oh man. Man, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that'd be great. Anyway, okay, guys. That's it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like on the video, comment on the video, dislike the video. That's what you want to do. Share the video. None of y'all had a problem with that. So, just put it in the comments. It's fine. We will be here either way next week. If you think I went too far again, I understand. And that's okay. The comments of Iron Panther does not represent Chris or Stacy. We're a team though. I'm just saying, I still say fuck last episode, but we'll see what happens with the season finale. All right. I could be wrong, but I tell you this, if nothing from episode 9 has anything to do with the season finale, I will end this video, our season finale, shit on that episode one more time. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's what I'm gonna do. So
you watch it or not, it's a filler. Don't listen to him.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say you wasted my time, and I'm gonna say it again.
And I'm gonna do this.
And Chris will be out the way. But on that happy note, we will say see you next week.